Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Davey Deathray here. I hope you guys are having a great week so far. It is Thursday, October 16th. How about it? And out here on the West Coast, it is just about 1:15 p.m. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Yeah, two kind of middle of the day streams, or evening streams if you're out across the pond. I considered going live at like 10 or 10:30 p.m. my time last night to cover these news items. I'm glad I waited a little bit because we got another little juicy tidbit that dropped earlier this morning. So I am looking forward to covering this stuff with you guys. And also, guys, let me know, do you like these live streams for the news coverage and everything? I could always, because I clip these out and, post them as just their own separate videos, I could always do these as pre-recorded, but I enjoy kicking it with you guys. But let me know if you're getting tired of the news live streams or whatever. A couple things before we jump in. I just want to let you guys know I pinned my affiliate link for the In Search of Darkness 95 to 99. That is pinned in the chat. I've already shown that off a couple times, so I'm not gonna beat you over the head with it. But if you dig those documentaries, you like those, deep dive 4-hour, 5-hour nerdy horror documentaries, I'm sure you know what In Search of Darkness is all about. Really, really great work by the people over there at Creator VC. They just recently raised some money for that slasher trash documentary that they're putting together. So feel free to use that affiliate link if you're interested in purchasing the movie. That helps the folks over at Creator VC. And if you use the link that I provide you, it also helps out the channel because I get a little bit of a kickback there. So much appreciated. We are getting down to the wire on the Fourth Wall shop. If you want to get some of that spooky season gear and have it in time for the culmination of spooky season, then go ahead and get on that soon. And then who knows, maybe I'll put out some Thanksgiving merch and some Christmas merch and all that kind of fun stuff. So just wanted to remind you guys about all of that. Coming up on the channel, tomorrow night at, I believe it's going to be 9 p.m. Eastern, we're going to have Daniel from the Cobwebs channel on, and we are going to talk about our favorite horror soundtracks and scores. I've been paying attention. I've seen some of you guys. I know we talk about music every now and again here on the channel. I have seen some chats come through occasionally, whether I'm live on this channel here or maybe I'm a guest on somebody else's channel, and you guys are asking about horror movie soundtracks and scores that I, really love. I feel like I've been asked about just putting together a stream for that. And Daniel is, a former musical theater kid from his high school days. At least if I'm remembering, I'm positive I've heard him say that on his channel before. So we both have that love of music. So I'm like, this is the perfect topic for us to dive into on a live stream. So that's going to be tomorrow night, Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern. Join us and come prepared to talk about your favorite horror movie soundtracks. Now, we all love the John Carpenters and the Goblins of the world. I'm sure we're going to talk about that. But maybe there is a horror movie that you've watched recently this spooky season and you're like, oh my gosh, I am just now realizing that this soundtrack is one of my favorites. Or maybe it's finally hitting you. Or maybe you've seen a movie recently like Black Phone 2, even though I didn't absolutely love the movie, I thought it kind of fell short of what the original was able to reach. Man, the music was really good. So yeah, just come ready to have a little chat with us. It's going to be super fun. And then other than that, got a whole bunch of stuff coming up here on the channel that I'll talk about later. So anyways, guys, I'm going to say what's up to y'all, and then we will dive into the news here. So let's see who we got rocking and rolling with us. Got about a dozen or so people hanging out with us. Guys, thank you so much again for joining me in the middle of the day. I know there's other streams going on and all that kind of stuff, so I really do appreciate it. If you're only able to hang out for a few minutes, you can always come back to the channel. I will clip out the news stories just individually so you can consume those, or you can check out the replay of the live. So we're probably just going to be going for about an hour and a half max here today. So yeah, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Guys, I'm sure you know all about the hype button. I'm not sure if it's on the desktop version of YouTube, but if you're watching on your phone, and maybe you come across a video of mine that just really hits you, feel free to hit that hype button. That is a great way for us to try to reach that 2,000 subscriber goal before Halloween, because we're quite a ways away. However, we are at, I think, 1813 is what our sub count is at. So it's not outside of the, realm of possibility. So again, if you guys, can share the channel, hit the like button, all that stuff, hit the hype button, that might put us over the top, and then you'll get that Halloween Davey in an alpha from 28 years later costume live stream. We'll see. We got Ashton Luck seated for Black Phone too. All right, so yeah, maybe Ashton will be able to catch the end of the stream here. I hope you dig the movie, Ashton. I hope you like it more than me. Chester Franklin Jr., what's happening, Chester? We got King Matthew III. What's happening, bud? Great to see you. Lamontre Gillard in the house. My Chunky Jordy, a.k.a. Gina. How are you doing, Gina? One of our great channel members. Great to see you. We got Gory Tiger. What's happening, Gory? Aaron Click is in the house. How are you doing, Aaron? One of our great channel members, Ryan Underwood. What's happening, man? All is doing well over here. I'm not as buff as you, but I did get a little dumbbell workout in yesterday. I gotta keep up my, my YouTube. Everything below right here is just an absolute mess, but I look great from about the nipples up. We got Don Keat in the house. How are you doing, Don? One of a great, community member that I've gotten to meet or get to just chit chat with in the chat over at Twisted Locker. Hope you're doing well, Don. And Don, I believe you're celebrating an anniversary. Hopefully it's not the wrong Don. Happy anniversary, Don. Hope it went well if I've already missed it. We got Sam from Our Life in Horror. What's happening, Sam? So good to see you. Corey from Wilkie's Movies and Music. What's happening, Corey? So good to see you, bud. We've got Linda, a.k.a. Terra1016. What's happening, Linda? Great to see you. Always a pleasure. And we got Saucy Jack's Boneyard. What's happening, Saucy Jack? Have you been in here before? Maybe this is Saucy Jack's first time. Everybody makes Saucy Jack's Boneyard feel welcome. You're kicking it with the Death Squad, bud. Okay. 34 years today. Hell yeah, Don. Congratulations. That is awesome. Okay, guys, we're going to get right into the news here. Let me just have a sip of water, and then we'll get cooking. All right. Oh, my goodness. Itchy nose at the worst time, right? Itchy nose right when I'm on camera. It's just terrible. It's just terrible. Okay, guys, holy cow. I'm really happy I didn't go live yesterday or late last night, because we do have a little, so IGN has had their Fall Fan Fest, I believe is what they're calling it. And so we got some clips that were released that we're going to cover. Silent Night, Deadly Night, Keeper, and Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. But with Silent Night, Deadly Night, we just got an official trailer today that just dropped this morning. And then Keeper also dropped a trailer. It looks like it's kind of like some splice stuff from a previous trailer, but we'll check all that out here in a few. But what we're going to do, some of these movies have a clip and a trailer. We're going to check out the clip, then we're going to check out the trailer. So we're going to have a lot of fun with these. And then we have some other little news tidbits outside of teasers, and we're going to take a look back at Drew Struzan's legendary poster work. He just passed away a few days ago, and his art is one of those things where, man, if you were born in the 70s, 80s, or 90s, maybe even the early 2000s, like, this guy's artwork has been part of some of your favorite movies. It's amazing. I brought up a page where there's just so much different artwork that he put together. So I want to shine a spotlight on that, because movie poster art, by and large, is kind of a lost art form these days. At least it seems like a lot of them are just kind of samey. So yeah, we'll take a look at that later on down the line. But let's go ahead and jump on into the Silent Night, Deadly Night. I almost just said bloody disgusting news because I'm just staring right at the page here. All right, let's get this going. Okay, guys, so we've got some really exciting and fun Silent Night, Deadly Night remake little tidbits that have dropped. Just yesterday, we've got a clip that dropped for IGN's Fall Fan Fest. And then earlier this morning, we got an official trailer. So very, very exciting. Let's just go ahead and take a look at both of these. I have not watched either one. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, bullshit, Davey. You YouTubers always watch these things before reacting to them. It's always a fake reaction. Well, you know how you can tell if it's not a fake reaction, at least for me, is that I actually like pay attention and shut the hell up and don't overreact when I watch something for the first time, because I want to soak it all in. I don't got time to react and you know, be talking through you know, something when I'm just experiencing it for the very first time, because I want to just, you know, take every little bit in. But I'm very excited for Silent Night, Deadly Night, for this remake that we're getting on December 12th, directed by Mike P. Nelson. You know, I mean, I love Rowan Campbell from Halloween Ends. I just think he does such a good job in that film. And I think with that performance, it is just like a no-brainer kind of casting to put him as Billy in a remake of Silent Night, Deadly Night. So I'm very excited about this. I'm curious to know what you guys think. So you folks that are watching live, let me know in the chat. And if you're watching after the fact, jump on into the comments. Let me know your thoughts on this franchise, on, you know, this upcoming remake, and, you know, how you're feeling about what we're seeing so far. I'm curious to know what you think. So here we go. Let's check out this article that comes to us by way of Bloody Disgusting through Alex DiVincenzo. And since this came out yesterday, so let's see what we got. The article says, while you wait for the full Silent Night, Deadly Night trailer coming down the chimney very soon, IGN premiered a bloody new teaser. The fresh take on the 1984 horror cult classic slashes into theaters unrated on December 12th from Cineverse and Bloody Disgusting. And written and directed by Mike P. Nelson, the reboot has drawn comparisons to Dexter and Venom. Okay, well, we all kind of know the plot of Silent Night, Deadly Night. Well, maybe you don't. So I'll just, you know, we'll just go ahead and jump into it here. When Billy witnesses his parents' grisly murder on Christmas Eve at the hands of Santa, it ignites a lifelong mission to spread holiday fear. Every Christmas, he dons the jolly red suit and delivers a blood-soaked massacre to feed his twisted sense of justice. Okay, so you know, you can see the cast there. I'll put that up on screen for folks so you can read that. And let's check out this clip here that we got. So I am going to cut the music. So there we go. And let's go ahead and check out this teaser clip, and then we'll jump on over to the official trailer after that.
How many people have you killed?
A lot, but they were all bad.
Naughty.
You packing, Santa? Guns are for pussies.
And you have to dress like Santa.
All right, damn. Okay, so that was very quick. What we'll do? Let's hop on over to the trailer. We'll watch the trailer. We can watch it again with the sound off and kind of react to that, because that was just like a really quick montage of a whole bunch of carnage there. So let's go ahead and jump on over to. Well, here I'll react really quickly to that. I like what they're setting up there, but now since I know that there's a full trailer, an official trailer, I just want to get into that. So that's what I'll say about that teaser there. So here we go, guys. This article here from John Squires, the headline reads, Silent Night, Deadly Night official trailer. Rowan Campbell trades in Michael Myers mask for a Santa suit. And we got a nice image there of the double-bladed axe. Love to see that. And this article says, Cineverse, Bloody Disgusting, and director Mike P. Nelson are bringing Silent Night, Deadly Night back to theaters this December with a brand new reboot movie starring Rowan Campbell, and the official trailer has made its way down the chimney this morning. So since we've already rolled out the red carpet for this film, let's just go ahead and jump right down to the official trailer. I'm just chomping at the bit to check this one out. So about a minute and a half, and let's see what we got.
'Twas the night before Christmas, the house locked up tight. Yet a shadow approached in the dead of the night with a glimmering axe, so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be Saint Nick.
Kind of been drifting my whole life. I'm ready for something real.
Looking for something? Are you okay? I'm gonna figure out what's going on in there.
You, had no idea.
What?
Naughty.
How many people have you killed?
A lot.
Do you have to dress like Santa?
It helps me slip from Billy into something else. Punish.
Wait. Keep it on.
Are you ready for this? Naughty. Have you been a good boy?
Okay, let's go ahead, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the music back up here. We'll watch this again together, maybe a couple times here, and have a little discussion. So this is interesting because it looks like it's, they're taking a little bit of a different angle here than they did in the original, right? So, and it's what's really cool too, I think, is they're kind of leaning into this sort of, so when Halloween Ends, it was one of those things where, Allison wasn't quite sure of what Corey was, although maybe she had some inklings, and then here we're getting, a different take on that, where it's, it seems like his female counterpart is very into his, his task of revenge or retribution or whatever it is. That remains to be seen as we get more of the story when we actually see the film. But I do like how it's just sort of out in the open. Seems like kind of, I don't know if it's going to be like a team up movie where she's actually doing some of the slaying with him, or if she's just kind of helping him out, but she certainly seems into it. So yeah, a little bit of a different take here on the remake, which I appreciate, because no one wants a carbon copy remake of the same old thing. We want to see a little bit of a different kind of tilt on the story, and man, this movie looks like it's really going to deliver on the blood and guts and all that kind of stuff, with it being unrated and Cineverse, which Cineverse and Bloody Disgusting that we know from Terrifier, I believe 2 and 3. So yeah, I don't know, guys, this looks pretty damn fun, and I think man, we've been eating really good as far as Christmas horror goes lately. For a while, we just had like a handful of these Christmas horror movies, and it seems like within the last few years, we've gotten so many. I don't know if that's because streaming platforms have been doing more of these, but it also seems like with Terrifier 3 and this remake as well, and then even, the announcement of the Return of the Living Dead Legacy sequel that looks to be a Christmas-themed movie, we're just getting more and more of this stuff. So I'm really excited about the Silent Night, Deadly Night upcoming remake here. And yes, I will admit some of that, a lot of it, is because I'm a massive Rowan Campbell fan. I loved his performance in Halloween Ends, and I think he is perfectly cast for this role here. And it sounds like we're going to get a bit more of like a character piece and a bloody good time here. But I'm curious to know what you guys think. So let me know if you're hanging out in the live chat. I'm curious to know your thoughts. If you're watching after the fact, jump on into the comments. Let me know your thoughts and feelings down there. And thank you so much for checking out the video. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and share the channel with someone who you think would dig this kind of content, because we're going to be covering horror news all the time here on the channel, whether it's movies, TV, comic books, whatever, as long as it piques our interest or tickles our fancy, we're going to cover it right here. So make sure you are subscribed and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. All right, guys, let's see what you got for me here in the live chat. I'll just go ahead and play the trailer again and see what you guys are saying over here. All right. Let's see. Fachi, Take it easy, bud. That we got our first comment from Facebook, guys. That's exciting. Yes, we are streaming on Facebook and on YouTube simultaneously. How about that? Sam says, I love Christmas horror, so I'm excited. Hell yeah. How are you feeling about how it's looking and everything? I'm very encouraged by what we're seeing here. That I figured it was just going to be kind of a carbon copy, just a straightforward slasher, but we're getting a little something different there with the natural born killers kind of element. That's a good question, Saucy Jack. I don't know if there's a leap year horror flick. I really don't. I'm not positive on that one. Maybe there is. Totally agree. OLIH, always looking for new horror, new Christmas horror goodness. What is OLIH? Oh, you're agreeing with Our Life in Horror. There you go. I'm not very smart all the time. There we go. I will be sat in theaters for this one. Hell yeah. That looks like legit fun. That looks okay. It's different, which is what I like. Yeah, I think it's very encouraging. Thank you so much for reminding everyone there, Gina. Yeah, guys, make sure to hit that like button if you haven't already. I like a fresh take like this. Might become a new Christmas horror classic. Lots of fun. I sure hope so. Brett just got out of Black Phone 2, Driving But Listening. Solid sequel, Brett says. Yeah, a bit of a step down, I think, from the original, unfortunately. What's happening? Super Tenor, one of our great channel members, and I just totally breezed by that. Not only is Brett an awesome channel member of ours, but he is a Death Squad mod as well. I hate the OG, sorry. Yeah, I mean, the OG is just so low budget, and yeah, I just don't think there's very much there in the original Silent Night, Deadly Night. So I think that this has the opportunity of, it feels more cinematic. The original is very rough and tumble, I think is a good way to put it. I purposely didn't pay much attention to the teaser and trailer because I want to be surprised. I basically only vaguely listened. All right. Yeah. Well, hopefully I didn't ruin anything by talking about, I mean, it looks like his girlfriend is into whatever's going on, right? Yeah, Rowan is so damn good here. It's basic, but I love it. Yeah, I think the original's fine. It's just one of those movies where it's so grainy and gritty, and you know, I don't think it's unfair to say that the original Silent Night, Deadly Night feels like it meanders a little bit too. So it looks like there's just a little more, I don't know, this story looks to be a bit juicier, some more meat on the bone. So yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really encouraged by this. I've been loving everything I've been hearing about this one. So yeah, I don't think I need to see anything else. I'm about as excited as I can get, but of course you guys know how I am. I cover the movie news here, so because I chose this life to be, you know, jumping on YouTube and blah blah blahing all the time, if something else comes out, I just might have to cover it. So we'll see. Let's see what we got here. What's happening, Joel? How are you doing, man? One of our great channel members. And holy cow, we got Gene Whitacombe jumping on in. How are you doing, Gene? Thank you so much for joining us. Linda says, love or hate ends. Rowan is something special. He is going to kill it. Yeah. That's what you know, even if you don't like the Halloween Ends, it's not a poorly made movie from a technical standpoint. I think it has Andy Matichak's best performance in the whole trilogy there. And yeah, Rowan Campbell's fantastic. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump on over to our next story. You guys know that I'm an Oz Perkins stan. I think I might be too old to call myself a stan instead of just a fan, because I'm old ass. So we got same kind of thing here with Keeper. We've got a clip and then a new trailer. So I'm curious to see what's here, and I have not checked these out either as well. So I'm just keeping myself fresh on these. All right, here we go. All right, guys. Well, we just got a couple things that dropped for Osgood. All right, guys. Well, we just got a couple things that dropped for Osgood Perkins' upcoming film Keeper, which is dropping next month in November. So we've got a clip here that came out of the IGN Fall Fan Fest, and then a new trailer, or it looks to be a new trailer. So let's go ahead and jump into this article by Alex DiVincenzo of Bloody Disgusting. The headline reads, "There is no escape in Osgood Perkins Keeper clip." And yeah, I'm a massive fan of what Oz Perkins has been doing. I mean, Longlegs specifically, I love the way that it looks. I adore that movie. I know that it didn't quite hit for everyone. Even if you didn't like the story, I think the acting was superb. The cinematography and the camera placement, the use of, stationary camera, and then just, very, very purposeful camera movement. I quite enjoyed that when it comes to Longlegs. So I think Keeper has got this, man, the way Neon does their advertising, their marketing, they really do a good job at building this mystique, because it's very difficult to tell what Keeper is really about. Maybe we'll get a little something here in this clip, I'm not sure, but I'm very excited for this film. And Oz Perkins is one of those directors that I'm paying a lot of attention to lately. So I'm curious to know what you guys think. Whether you're hanging out in the live chat, let me know there. And if you're watching after the fact, jump on into the comments, give me your thoughts on Oz Perkins and, what you're feeling and thinking about Keeper. And let's just go ahead and jump on into the article here. All right. So the article says, "A locked door, a dead phone, a creature in pursuit. There is no escape." If today's trailer left you wanting more, get another taste of Keeper in the clip below, courtesy of IGN. The latest dark trip from director Osgood Perkins opens in theaters on November 14th from Neon. Tatiana Maslany and Rosif Sutherland star. It follows a couple as they escape for a romantic anniversary weekend at a secluded cabin. When Malcolm suddenly returns to the city, Liz finds herself isolated and in the presence of an unspeakable evil that unveils the cabin's horrifying secrets. And Nick Lepard, who wrote Dangerous Animals, wrote the script for this one. And yeah, it's been shrouded in secrecy. So let's see what this clip has to show us, and then we will check out that trailer afterwards. So let me cut the music here, and we will get into this clip. There we go. All right, let's IGN Fall Fan Fest. Is that what it is? Fall Fan Fest. Okay. Now let's jump on over to this article by Negan. Now let's jump over to this article by Megan Navarro. The headline reads, "Creepy new Keeper trailer features high praise from horror heavy hitters." So there's a look at a little something that doesn't look like whatever the creature was that we saw in that clip. So let's just go ahead and scroll on down and watch the trailer, since we've already, discussed the film and everything like that. So let's see what we got here for Oz Perkins Keeper. Brand new official trailer. I think this dropped yesterday. So let's go ahead and check out what we got.
I don't wanna play in your yard. I don't like you anymore.
Can I trust this man?
You'll be sorry
Can I trust this woman?
when you see me.
There's something special about you.
You make the children.
I want to go.
I want to leave now. I want to go back to before.
Yes. Okay. That I like that a lot more than the little clip here. So let's take another look. This has got, man. So I love his like color schemes and everything, like the red and black with long legs, and then we've got this really interesting like icy bubblegum kind of blue, almost like Dia de los Muertos like blue going on here that just sort of glows. You know, a lot of these shots we've seen in that original trailer, but there is way more of the showing of the, you know, the physical embodiment of whatever this evil is. So still a lot of mystery in this trailer, though. We don't really know how that's connected to our lead, the lead that Tatiana Maslany plays here, but it also looks like there's some sort of, I don't know, is there a connection to other people that have visited this cabin or been on this property? There's just a whole bunch of fun mystery here. We've got these quotes, you know, Guillermo del Toro giving it some praise, James Wan and Damien Leone as well. So yeah, I just love what Oz Perkins brings to the table as a creative voice in horror. I think it's no matter what he does, I'm always interested in seeing what's going on, and this looks pretty damn awesome here. I'm very, very much looking forward to Keeper, and maybe I'm looking extra forward to it because Black Phone 2 was a little bit of a letdown. And you know how we are. I can't wait to get hurt again. You know what I mean? So I might as well build up the hype train on another movie and then be underwhelmed. I'm trying to, you know, always temper expectations and all that kind of stuff, but this does look really good, and it looks different from the monkey, and honestly, it looks different, you know, from Longlegs as well. So I'm really excited about this one. I'm curious to know what you guys think. Let me know your thoughts in the live chat. If you're watching after the fact, jump on into the comments. Let me know your thoughts down there. Thank you so much for checking out the video. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and share the channel with someone who you think would dig this kind of content. We're trying to hit 2,000 subs before Halloween here, so every little bit of that helps. And we're going to be covering horror news all the time, sometimes a couple times a week. You know, movies, TV, comic books, whatever, video games. As long as it piques our interest or tickles our fancy here, we're going to cover it right on the channel. So make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Okay, guys, what do we got for you? What do we got for this from this live audience here? I'm curious to know what you guys are thinking here. We got Willfully joining us. How are you doing, Willfully? Welcome on in. I think this is your first time, so you're kicking it with the Death Squad. Everybody make Willfully feel very, very welcome. Looks basic from that clip. Yeah, the little, you're talking about the clip of Keeper. Yeah, I was not impressed with the clip. But I'm really liking what we're seeing from the actual trailer here. Well, I don't think so, Gina. I think so. Maybe there are a couple shots of these creatures or whatever, but you know, we don't really know very much about this other than the basic setup, right? So I'm really curious at the whole mystery side of what is really going on here. So that's what I like. And you know, Oz Perkins as a, you know, he's just a visual mastermind. I'm curious. What was that? I want to scrub back here. What was that? I'm gonna pause. Sorry, guys. Look at this. Holy cow. God, is there any way to get that crap off the screen? I don't think so. But look at that, is disturbing right there. Yeah, that's super. He's definitely diving into something like way more, like, you know, Longlegs dabbled in the supernatural kind of stuff, but they didn't really, like, there wasn't much explanation, and really it was just, you know, our main villain that was using supernatural stuff. But this looks like it's got a whole different whole new level of supernatural going on. A lot more going on there than I thought there would be. That's, yeah, and I don't think, you know, we just get these little flashes of images. So this really does have me encouraged, because I would say the only thing about the first trailer that left me, you know, not concerned, but left me, like, kept me from getting too excited, is I was thinking that, Saucy, I was like, it doesn't seem like there's much going on. It seems like this is a very much like a relationship horror, which I'm totally cool with if you pull it off the right way. I think we saw a really good version of that with Together that came out earlier this year. But at the same time, I was like, man, I hope Bring Her Back, which I thought was good, but not great. You know, very well-made movie, but the story didn't really grab me. I didn't think there was a lot going on in Bring Her Back. And when I saw the first trailer of Keeper, it sort of felt like maybe there was that kind of theme going on there as well. So I'm glad you brought that up, Saucy Jack, because I'm seeing the very same thing you are. I am seeing more meat on the bone here than we had previously known. So yeah, let's see what else we got going on here. Finally made it. Hell yeah. So Willfully, have you been watching some of the pre-recorded stuff or the clipped out stuff, but you haven't been able to make it to a live? Welcome on in, man. The live streams are really fun, and I'm trying to do them at different times of the day to be able to include people that are all over the world with all sorts of different schedules and everything. I'm not a different film to the trailer. Oh, it's not a different film to the trailer, as I'm confused. I've hit my head. Oh, did you really hit your head? I'm so sorry, Gina. Well, sit down, have a glass of water, have a rest. Let my soothing voice bring you back. And yeah, let's go ahead and jump on over to the next little bit here, as Del Toro's name is on the screen there for Keeper. We're gonna jump on over to a little clip from Frankenstein. Guys, are you pumped for Frankenstein? Let me know. Okay, let's keep on cruising. All right, guys, in yet another clip drop from IGN's Fall Fan Fest, we've got a clip here from Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, which is coming out here in about 3 weeks or so. I think some folks are even catching early screenings right now, so we may have word on, you know, some reviews or just, you know, some little reaction to this one. But I am excited for this for a couple reasons. I mean, obviously, I wish it were a theatrical release, because I think those movies, they just usually look more cinematic, and it's great to be able to watch a movie in a theater rather than to only be able to watch it at home. And you know, Guillermo del Toro is a visionary. I mean, he's got amazing vision as a filmmaker, and I love Mary Shelley's Frankenstein story. It's one of those, you know, characters that caught my attention from back when I was playing Castlevania on the NES, and he was a very, very difficult boss to get past. The monster was. And then I got into the book as a child, and of course the Universal films and all that kind of stuff. So I'm excited to see this interpretation. It looks like we really are going to get, you know, a lot of the story that's in the book that hasn't been touched on in a lot of the films, and only really been touched on in the films that have brought that into the story. So I'm excited to see what he's got here. Let's take a look at this article from Bloody Disgusting. This comes to us by way of Alex DiVincenzo, and the headline reads, "The Monster is Alive in New Clip from Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein." And we got this image here. If my mouse would quit being squirrely, there we go. Bit of a clean image there. I want to see some more grit, but let's see what we got in the clip. So the article says, Victor Frankenstein brings his creation to life in IGN's new clip from Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. The adaptation of Mary Shelley's genre-defining 1818 novel opens in select theaters this Friday, October 17th, before streaming on Netflix November 7th. The film stars Oscar Isaac, Jacob Elordi, Mia Goth, and Christoph Waltz. It's brilliant. The film stars Oscar Isaac, Jacob Elordi, Mia Goth, and Christoph Waltz. And it centers around the brilliant but egotistical scientist Victor Frankenstein as he brings a creature to life in a monstrous experiment that ultimately leads to the undoing of both the creator and his tragic creation. So let's go ahead and jump on down to the clip. I think most of us are familiar with the Frankenstein story, so we don't need to dive in too deep here. But actually, let's take a look at what Megan Navarro has to say, because she did review this one. So Megan Navarro wrote in her review, quote, "There's no question that Frankenstein is absolutely breathtaking, with imagery and set pieces that instantly embed themselves in your memory. It showcases Del Toro's strength as a filmmaker, creating immersive worlds that enhance what he does best. Championing, why can't I say that word? Championing, wow, I can't even say that word. Championing monsters and their tragic humanity instead of using them to scare us. Okay, so let's go ahead and check out the clip here, and then I'll get a Hooked on Phonics lesson on how to say that word. All right, guys, let's check out this clip. Here we go. I'm going to cut the music out. There we are, and let's get going. Okay, so much more there than we got with the Keeper clip. I'm going to get the music going, and we'll take another look at this. So let's see what we got here. They're fancy. We're going to cover it right here on the channel. So make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Okay, guys, let's check out really quick because I said we were going to take a look at this. So that's what the monster looks like all dressed up. I think it looks great. Like, I love the look of the Frankenstein monster. I love even the script that they've got there for the title and everything. You know, the handwritten stuff. Love it. Just something about the way the monster looks when he's strapped up. Very clean and very smooth, I would say. Looks like a sea creature or something like that. But let's see what you guys are saying here in the chat. Saucy Jacks Boneyard says, I am stoked for Frankenstein. Yeah, I'm excited for this one too. I'm a sucker for these old school literary characters. Dracula, maybe I've seen a bit too much, but I always enjoy going back to the OG. But like when I was a kid, it was like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and Frankenstein. I was just obsessed with those stories as a child. We got Sean Fleming in the chat. How are you doing, Sean? Is this your first time kicking it with us, or maybe the name looks familiar, so maybe you've been in here before, but if not, welcome on in. Everybody make Sean feel very welcome. You are kicking it with the Death Squad. And yeah, I'm looking forward. Do we know how long this movie is going to be? Is it going to be some like 3-hour or 4-hour epic? I'm not sure. If somebody can check that out for me, that would be cool. Can't wait to see Frankenstein, but it's going to be next year by the time it's on physical in England. Oh, damn. Well, what about you don't have Netflix or somebody that can share Netflix with you? Yeah, limited theatrical release, but I don't think that they've even said where those screenings are happening. So I think those are happening this weekend. And I would imagine it's probably like LA and New York. You know, probably just limited to those two spots. The way I was introduced to Frankenstein was third in Mel Brooks. Third grade Mel Brooks' Young Frankenstein. That's a fun one. Yeah, I mean the one with Mary Shelley's Frankenstein with Robert De Niro, and I think it was Kenneth Branagh that did that. You know, he played Victor Frankenstein. I think he directed the movie as well. That was one I remember as a kid, and of course the classic James Whale Frankenstein movies. I just cannot say that word. Championing. Yeah, it's a weird word. It's yeah. Whew. Guy Pearce would have been in this back in the day. Yes. He was in all of those, like Time Machine, and wasn't there Count of Monte Cristo, like all that kind of stuff. Still stoked. He did that for Inside. He did the Inside the Body thing in Death Stranding. It's a cool little camera trick. I don't know if Netflix will probably put it out on physical media at some point, but they want people to watch it on the streaming service. You know, it's kind of the reason why they, you know, put so much money into these movies is they want people to pay monthly for the service, you know. Let's see here. I have not seen Death Stranding, so I don't even think I've heard of it, so I got to check that one out sometime soon. But yeah, guys, Del Toro's Frankenstein, it'll be here in just about 3 weeks, so we don't have to wait very much longer. How about that? Okay, we got a fun little announcement here for us old people. Me, you know. Us old people is me. I figure everyone else is a young buck out there. Okay, guys. All right, everyone. So we've got some news here that is great news for fans of very, very old horror movies and fans of, you know, biopics I have a bit of some mixed feelings on biopics. The music biopics are really, really rough. They make up so much. I just can't trust them. But this one has me intrigued because, as you can see in the headline here, it is a young Bela Lugosi biopic penned by the Ed Wood scribes, and that is currently in development over at Universal Pictures. This article comes to us by way of Megan Navarro over at Bloody Disgusting. And yeah, guys, if you have not seen Ed Wood by Tim Burton, that's, I think, my favorite Tim Burton movie. I love it so much, and I love the Martin Landau's interpretation of Bela Lugosi. I believe the makeup won an Oscar, and I think Landau won a Best Supporting Actor Oscar as well for that performance. And it really, like, I didn't know too much about Bela's personal life and his struggles, his heroin addiction and all that stuff. I had no idea. So that Ed Wood movie, gave a little bit of an insight to, the man behind the monster. And it's encouraging that the same people that wrote that movie have taken on this, biopic here. So let's go ahead and jump on into the article. I'm curious to know if you guys are big fans of Bela Lugosi, if you enjoyed Ed Wood, if this kind of story is something that you think is going to resonate with, horror fans, young and old. Gosh, I hope that everyone knows who Bela Lugosi is still, even the young kids and everything. But let me know in the live chat your thoughts on this. If you're watching after the fact, jump into the comments. Let me know your thoughts on the young Bela Lugosi biopic. And let's see what Megan Navarro has for us as we pause here and take a look at Bela as Dracula, just the quintessential Dracula look there. All right, so the article says, Leonardo DiCaprio's Appian Way Productions is developing a Universal Pictures biopic of Dracula originator Bela Lugosi per Deadline. The script hails from Scott Alexander and Larry Karaszewski, the writers behind Tim Burton's Ed Wood and Rudy Ray Moore biological comedy Dolomite Is My Name. The biopic is said to follow, quote, a younger Lugosi, capturing his meteoric rise to become one of cinema's most enduring and recognizable figures. The film chronicles his immigration from Hungary and rise to stardom, both as the star of Dracula on Broadway and the Hollywood adaptation, as well as his precipitous fall after declining the role of Frankenstein, which went to his future rival, Boris Karloff, end quote. Yeah, I think that's something there that was missed for a while, is that, Lugosi played Dracula on the stage before, it was sort of like the minor leagues and then getting called into the pros once films started to take off. And turning down Frankenstein because I think he didn't want to be behind all the makeup and, he just thought it was kind of a role that was beneath him. Yeah, it would have been so different. I mean, I'm happy that Karloff got the job because it looks like, anyways, Karloff is much taller than Lugosi and just has like a little bit of a more otherworldly build. So I think it worked out. Although I guess Lugosi may, disagree with me on that one. So let's see here. The article continues by saying, born in Lugos, Hungary, now part of Romania, on October 20th, 1882, Bela Ferenc Dezo Blasco started his early career on the Hungarian stage before serving in World War I and eventually landed the iconic role of Count Dracula in the 1931 film. Though the actor never quite escaped the long shadow of the classic monster, Lugosi's horror contributions are robust. Our own Brian Kuiper captures the actor's impressive legacy, worth reading to get an idea of what we might expect from the upcoming biopic. And then we have a list of all the producers here that are working on the project. And the article finishes off by saying, Deadline notes that despite this pitch crossing Universal's desk 2 years ago, the biopic is still in its earliest stages of development, meaning don't expect it anytime soon. So I wanted to cover this just because this is a character and an actor that I've loved for a really long time. Looks like this movie might be a few years away, but we will continue to follow it as it moves along. You never know how these things get cruising with DiCaprio's production studio behind it. Maybe it's going to, perhaps not be fast tracked, but maybe actually just kind of get on a track at some point soon. So yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts in the live chat, whether you're watching there or if you're watching after the fact. Jump on into the comments. Let me know your thoughts on the classic Dracula starring Bela Lugosi, and if a biopic of this very, very incredible contributor, this very incredible contributor to horror. Just let me know, if you're interested in this kind of story moving forward, and your thoughts on Bela and his career. Thank you so much for checking out the video. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and share the channel with someone who you think would dig this kind of content. We're trying to hit 2,000 subs before Halloween, so every little bit helps. And we're covering horror news all the time on the channel. So movies, TV, comic books, video games, whatever, as long as it piques our interest or tickles our fancy, we're going to cover it right here. So make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Okay, guys, let's see what you got over here. Let's see what you got over here. As I just struggle to speak normally on this stream, I don't know what it is. Abbott and Costello Meets Frankenstein was my favorite film when I was 2. I'm 49, so I'm the old biatch. Yeah, Ed Wood's so good. So damn good. JG Michael, welcome on in, bud. Says Ed Wood is a great movie, but it's not a deeply accurate portrayal of Wood. Yeah, Wood was a mess. Yeah, not a very nice guy. Struggling alcoholic. But the movie is very fun. Yeah. I went to Bela Lugosi's grave at Holy Cross Cemetery. There are black lipstick smears on the gravestone and things like plastic vampire teeth and toy bats. All right, so it's a little bit of a pilgrimage site there. I've seen Plan 9 more times than any other movie, including a screening of a survival print at the theater. That is awesome. Yeah, Plan 9 is rough, but fun, like a fun bad movie. Ed Wood's movies are very, very difficult to watch, for sure. But I think Coleman Francis is probably worse. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Coleman Francis. I think he made worse movies. He only did 3, and they're all putrid. Let's see here. What's happening, Kyle Curtis? How are you doing? I wonder if the movie will feature a scene of him playing Jesus in a Hungarian stage version of The Passion. Oh, shoot. I didn't even know about that. I guess I should check out that article that they mentioned there in the piece that we just read. He did. You're right, Saucy Jack. He got to play the monster. Yeah, later on in his career. He just didn't get to be the guy, the icon, right? The movie may never happen. The Russ Meyer biopic got canned. Yeah, so again, yeah, it sounds like this is just in the very early stages. A movie can get canceled at pretty much any point, especially in the first couple stages. Yeah. That would be cool. I love Bela Lugosi, says Aaron Click. I have a cat named Lugosi, if that tells you anything. Oh, that's too sweet. I love kitty cats. I miss my kitty cats. What's happening? Illuminated Pro, welcome on in. Welcome on in. Yeah, me too, Saucy Jack. Yeah, I am... Oh, man, Mystery Science Theater 3000 is my favorite TV show of all time. It's one of the most important pieces of media to me. Yeah. Yeah, Beast of Yucca Flats, Skydivers, and Red Zone Cuba. Yeah. Watch Gods and Monsters. That's about James Whale, right? Is that Brendan Fraser and what's his face? I can't think of his name right now because I'm on a live stream. You can Ian McKellen, right? I think that's the one. Okay, guys, one more story, and then, maybe I'll just hang out with y'all for a little bit here before we get cruising on with our day. I had to cover this because movie poster art, like I said at the beginning of the stream, by and large is a lost art. So, yeah, it's, we keep on losing people. But here we go. Let's go ahead and jump on in. Well, guys, we lost another legendary artist in the film industry, and whether you're a horror fan or a sci-fi fan or a fantasy fan or comedy or whatever, Drew Struzan's work. man, I mean, especially like I said at the earlier on in the stream, before getting to the story, whether you were born in the 70s, 80s, 90s, or even early 2000s, you're seeing this guy's work on some of your favorite movies, which is an incredible spanning of a career. And he even did some poster work for some movies that were made fun of on Mystery Science Theater 3000, which is my favorite TV show of all time. So, I mean, what can you say about somebody who contributed so much to film? Because there was a time when the poster art kind of was the teaser, you know, it was used as a hook to bring people in. And now it's not. I'm not saying that there aren't people out there doing great work or anything like that. I know that there are, and there are some filmmakers that really do. They want their piece to feel timeless, so they want that that element to be part of the, you know, the filmmaking production and everything like that. But by and large, it's sort of a lost art to do, you know, hand-drawn or hand-painted posters, and not just, you know, I think a lot of posters we see nowadays, they're very samey. You know, there's just not as much creativity, or you know, you see a lot of blues and oranges on posters and all that kind of stuff, which is a, you know, it's a gripping color scheme, or a matching of colors, but here we get something wholly unique. So let's go ahead and take a look at this article here by Alex DiVincenzo over at Bloody Disgusting. A legendary poster artist, Drew Struzan, has passed away. And right here, we've got one of the big ones, John Carpenter's The Thing, that we're taking a look at here. And I did bring up another page where we can take a look at a whole bunch of Drew's work, because we'll read through the article here, but then, and we'll just kind of celebrate the life and the work here. So the article says, legendary movie poster artist Drew Struzan passed away yesterday, October 13th, at the age of 78. And from his social media, there's a quote here that says, "It is with a heavy heart that I must tell you that Drew Struzan has moved on from this world as of yesterday. I feel it is important that you all know how many times he expressed to me the joy he felt knowing how much you appreciated his art." And Struzan painted indelible posters for over 150 films, including Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Back to the Future, Harry Potter, Blade Runner, E.T., The Goonies, First Blood, and The Shawshank Redemption. He also created iconic artwork for several horror films, from The Thing to Hocus Pocus to Hellboy. I've highlighted 15 of his genre works below, so we can take a look at some of those. Let's see here. Let's just go ahead and scroll down. So yeah, what I'll do is, for the audience that's watching live, you guys are going to see me scroll through these. For you folks that are watching after the fact, I will actually overlay these images so you can see them, you know, nice and large on the screen. So we've got this one for H.G. Wells' Food of the Gods. So, you know, starting out with really, really beautiful work on kind of a humble project here. This is a Burt I. Gordon movie. So if you guys are Mystery Science Theater fans, you know who Burt I. Gordon is. And then another one, this movie was made fun of on Mystery Science Theater. This is for the film Squirm. Look at how awesome. It's a worm horror movie. Look at how awesome that artwork is. And this is, I think this was the second to last episode on Mystery Science Theater's initial run on the sci-fi days there. We got Empire of the Ants. I'm going to scroll through these. I'll show them, you know, on the clipped out video here a little bit more. We got one here for, oh, I missed the title there. This one is, no, I didn't miss the title. Where's the title, Drew? Where's the title? Tentacles. There it is. I just didn't keep on going. And we got one here for the Evictors. Of course, we've got The Thing there as well. We've got Incubus, which I've never heard of this movie, Incubus. John Cassavetes. So maybe I just totally missed that one. Of course, we've got Dreamscape here with Dennis Quaid. That's one that I remember seeing all the time in the video rental store as a kid. We got Return to Oz, pure nightmare fuel in this movie, as everyone knows. Big Trouble in Little China, another John Carpenter classic. Just look at this beautiful work that Drew put together here. I mean, oh my gosh, one of the best posters of all time. And we got this one for The Outing. I've never heard of this movie, The Outing. Great poster work though. And of course, Hocus Pocus. But let's go ahead and jump on over to, I think this is the one. Yeah, so this just kind of gives you, you know, a big bulk of posters here. So the original Revenge of the Jedi, before they changed the name to Return of the Jedi. Of course, you have the Harry Potter poster here, the Star Wars posters, as were mentioned, the Goonies, Indiana Jones. Here's a big one for me, Mallrats. I had no idea he did the Mallrats poster. And Mallrats is one of my favorite comedies of all time. It's easily my favorite Kevin Smith movie. I absolutely adore Mallrats. So that one's a little special to me. Not only am I a big horror nut, but I'm a big comedy nut as well. So yeah, just Hook, Muppets Christmas Carol, the Muppet movie. Well, I saw Car Wash up there as well. So Police Academy. I mean, look at all this work here. So if you grew up within, you know, one of the last like 5 or 6 decades, you definitely know Drew's work here. So, you know, certainly had an impact on the industry, and for us horror fans as well, a big part of, you know, when we think of movies like right here with The Thing, like you see this poster in your mind's eye. So just wanted to, you know, pay our respects to Drew Struzan, and you know, we just keep on losing these legends, and I guess that's just how it goes. But it's a good reminder to, number one, be thankful for every day, appreciate people while they're here, which is, you know, number 2, and number 3, just take pause. You know, when we end up losing somebody, just be able to reflect on their career and their life's work. And you know, just Drew got plenty of flowers while he was still here and kicking it, because of how amazing and how eclectic his work was. But to just take that extra moment and appreciate the contribution to film, the films we loved, and then also to be able to discover, like, oh shit, like I did, like, he did the Mallrats poster. I had no idea. This guy that is wildly famous, and that one just has a little bit of a different look. So so it's a great moment to kind of discover maybe some things about the person's resume that you didn't know. So yeah, I just wanted to pay tribute to Drew here. Let me know in the live chat, guys, your favorite Drew Struzan poster artwork. If you're watching after the fact, jump on into the comments. Let me know some of your favorite pieces that Drew put together. Thank you so much for watching the video. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and share the channel with someone who you think would dig this kind of content. Hit the hype button. The hype button is great because we're trying to reach 2,000 subs by Halloween, and you guys can help way more than I can by sharing the channel and just spreading the love a little bit. So, and we're going to keep on covering horror news here, whether it's TV, movies, comic books, video games, whatever, as long as it tickles our fancy or piques our interest, we'll cover it right here. So make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Okay, guys, there we go. Boomity boom. I am all yours, live chat. Let's see what you guys are saying about Drew's work here. Sean says he was a legend. His artwork sold to movies like Back to the Future, Star Wars, and Indiana Jones movies. Yes. Yeah. I mean, really, like, you know, it's used as a hook, like kind of like a teaser. Like, you look at the Goonies poster and it tells you a lot of what you need to know about that movie, right? The Goonies poster where they're all like hanging off each other's legs from the bit of rock there. It's like, okay, so we've got a cave diving adventure or some sort of like wild adventure with a bunch of like, you know, teens to, you know, younger kids involved in this. So it just, you know, literally painted a picture for what you could expect from the film. And just, you know, when you look at the Mandalorian and Grogu poster art that just came out recently, it you can tell they're going for that look, but it just doesn't seem to quite have the same kind of thing. I'm not going to accuse them of using AI because I don't know, but Grogu's on that poster like 3 times or something, which just seems a little a little odd to me. Anyways, I don't want to accuse them of that. I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings or anything if a real person did work on that one. Saucy Jack says, yeah, I love MST. I have all the Rhino and Shout Factory sets. Kind of obsessed with it. Yeah, I have a lot of those as well. I still have some VHS tapes that I recorded when I was in like 8th grade back in 95. What's happening, Ashton? What did you think of Black Phone 2? Of course, no spoilers, but I'm curious to know what you thought. My stepniece was in the Evictors. Oh, shit. I've never even heard of that one, Saucy Jack. So there's a couple of those that I should check out because I haven't even heard of them. Incubus is okay. A bit of an art house meets exploitation cinema. Okay. I need to watch Evictors. I adore doe-eyed Jessica Harper. The Goonies one was my favorite one growing up as a kid, in Star Wars and Back to the Future. Yeah. Let's see what else we got. Absolutely. Yeah. Rest in peace, Drew. 78. I know it's not young by any means, but it does, you know, people just happen to be living a lot longer than they used to. So 78 still feels like, I'm not going to say gone too soon, but it still feels like relatively young. So, but yeah, rest in peace, Drew. Did he do the Escape from New York posters? I'm not sure. I don't see them listed there. Let's see what we got here. Escape from New York poster artist. How about it? I'm just trying to look for Barry Jackson. Oh wait, maybe that's a different one. I don't know. I'm having a tough time figuring out who. Oh yeah, Barry E. Jackson is the one who did Escape from New York there. All right. Let's see here. I love his Hellboy poster, but then I love everything Hellboy. Fair enough. A-Troll Campbell, what's happening, A-Troll? Says Back to the Future poster because my birthday is on Back to the Future Day, October 21st. Well, holy cow. You have a birthday coming up in less than a week. How about it, A-Troll? I believe the Shatner starring movie called Incubus was 60s. Oh, different Incubus movie. How are you doing, Paula? One of our great channel members. Welcome on in. Yeah, I think the first movie, the first Black Phone, works so well as a standalone, unfortunately. But the second one's okay, yeah. Better Off Dead is one of my favorite movies. I didn't realize he did the poster. I love it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that hand-drawn look with, like, the circle behind there's just that, like, classic look. Yeah, Better Off Dead. By the way, Linda, Better Off Dead is an absolute classic comedy. I love that movie so much. Diane Franklin and John Cusack and Curtis Armstrong, so damn good. All right, The Town That Dreaded Sundown remains goated. Did he do that one as well? Maybe I just missed that on the. I'm looking through. DuckTales the movie. Okay, so he did DuckTales as well. Coming to America, Cannonball Run. I'm just seeing a few more of these here. And then different alternates for like Star Wars and Indiana Jones and some stuff like that. That's just a little bit different there. Yeah, it doesn't look like everything is listed here. Oh yeah, Better Off Dead. There it is. So Linda caught that as I was scrolling through, and I had totally missed it on the first time scrolling through. Yeah, man, 150 movies, and how many of us just grew up looking at these images as children. It's wild. Oh, someone mentioned Charles B. Pierce from the original Boggy Creek Creature movie, and then a Boggy Creek 2, The Legend Continues. Yeah, and it is, I think another thing too is it's like just a reminder as well that the art form is kind of going with the artists, unfortunately. And again, I know there's people out there that are doing good work. It's just by and large, not many movies are paying for hand-drawn or hand-painted, images anymore. It's just like everything else with film, there's been technological advancements and things have just kind of moved on, and just the way it's going to be with humanity is like some forms of art are just going to become like passe or not as trendy, or they're just going to become more niche as we, kind of continue to move forward into the future. Yes, E.T. as well. I think that one was mentioned in the article. Yeah, I mean, so many great pieces of work. Yeah. Charles Pierce is rumored to have come up with the go ahead, make my day dirty Harry line. Wow. Well, I guess that's a lot better than a lot of the lines he wrote in Boggy Creek 2, like, I can smell you. Stuff like that. Okay, guys. Well, holy cow. We've been live for about an hour and 18 minutes. I think I started a poll on the stream at the very beginning. I do have a super chat goal. I totally forgot to mention it at the beginning of the stream. I would love to do something fun like a Halloween 1 and 2 double feature kind of watch party. But since that would take about, 5 hours probably all said and done, it would be nice to be able to raise a little bit of a, to have a goal reach to be able to do something like that. So maybe we can try that super chat goal out another time. But the poll in the chat, so we have 25 votes. How excited are you for Silent Night, Deadly Night Remake? And let me just go ahead and close that one out here. Let's see here. So 60% of 25 people say, so excited. I love Rowan Campbell. 20% of you say I'm halfway there. And 20% say, meh. All right. Well, more than half of you are very excited for Silent Night, Deadly Night, as am I. So very much looking forward to that one there. Well, Toby Hooper, yeah, directed Poltergeist. I don't think Drew did the artwork though for that one. But hey, that, so for you guys that are hanging out live, and if for the folks that are watching the stream after the fact, by the way, if you're watching after, thank you so much. It really does help give the stream like a second life when people find it and check it out. Maybe there's a poster that I totally missed, or a favorite movie of yours that Drew did the work for. Feel free to, take a look around these sites, do that Google search and let me know in the comments, maybe one that we missed or one that just stands out to you. Or even a memory. We all have memories, like those of us who were born in the 70s and 80s, and maybe some that were born in the 90s, have memories of going to the video store. I grew up in a really small town in Southeast Alaska, so we didn't have a Blockbuster until I was probably like in high school or right before high school. So there were mom and pop video stores. So I have all of these memories of walking through the aisles, being 5 or 6 years old and walking away from my parents and going through the horror aisle and being scared by the dolls, VHS artwork and all that kind of stuff. So let me know if you've got a cool memory, just tied to one of these pieces of art. I think that's another thing too about things that are handcrafted, drawn or painted by hand, is they just are etched in our memory so much more than these dime a dozen straight up like Photoshop posters, which again, there's nothing wrong with them. I just think there's something that's just a bit more gripping about something that's created with the human hand. Let's see here. Can I change my vote from halfway there to very excited? Unfortunately, no, but I'm happy to know that watching the trailer, moved the needle for you. I think, hey, that's a good sign for the filmmakers. If people could come in with a half chub and then be full chub by the time they watch the trailer, right? Let's see here. Regarding Ed Wood, some of his films aren't as bad as others. Bride of the Monster, for example. Yeah, I think Bride of the Monster is one of his better. Yeah, I'll give Ed Wood this. The guy didn't stop trying. So, and he had so much passion. So I'll give him that. Passion isn't always paired up with talent and doesn't always result in success, even if it is paired up with talent, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, Spielberg was there to executive produce, and he was close by. So, and also Hooper has a different crew on Poltergeist. I think a lot of people forget that. Like, he's not working with the same people that shot TCM and Funhouse. He's working with an Amblin crew. So there's just going to be another level of professionalism to the overall product. But I don't buy that Spielberg ghost directed Poltergeist, because I think he was making E.T. at the same time. So I don't see how he would be able to. I can see how, Spielberg would maybe, like, Dean Cundy would be around to, discuss shots with the cinematographer for Poltergeist, that they were able to kind of like workshop things, but I believe that it was that crew that worked on Poltergeist that made that movie for sure. The poster artwork that scared me as a kid was Texas Chainsaw. I'm trying to think of the other ones that really freaked me out. So like Dolls was a big one. And then I finally watched Dolls like a couple months ago, and it was such a cute movie, like such a great like gateway horror for kids. I can't believe it was R-rated because to me it really doesn't seem that bad. And it was such a charming movie that felt kind of like a really like a long Tales from the Crypt episode. I really enjoyed it. I'm trying to think of the other movies that freaked me out when I was a kid. Ghoulies didn't really freak me out, but definitely interested me because there's that, you know, that kid appeal to a smaller monster, toilet monster. I just recently watched Ghoulies as well. What the hell? Where were the Ghoulies? Why is it a movie about a cult instead of about the Ghoulies? I have no idea. Maybe the sequel has more Ghoulies. Let me know, because there weren't enough Ghoulies, guys. What other? The cover to the movie House with the floating hand, the disembodied hand with the key going in the doorknob. That freaked me out as a kid. Yeah. Imagine Ed Wood with a big budget. Yeah, he would have been better than Uwe Boll, I think, for sure. Yeah, same area at the same time. Yeah, just I think right down the street from one another. I don't buy it either, and there's some shots in Poltergeist that are classic Hooper. Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people forget that, you know, yes, of course the director brings their vision, absolutely. But the crew is massively important. Like, there is no way that Halloween would have looked as good as it did without Dean Cundey, right? Because look at other slashers of the time. I'm going to use the word, and I don't mean this in a disparaging way, but they're a lot clumsier looking. You know, Friday the 13th is not as cinematic as Halloween. Even A Nightmare on Elm Street, which is 6 years later, is clumsily shot in a lot of those like horror scenes. And maybe that's done on purpose because it's like Nightmare, you know, you got the handheld camera in the Nightmare. That's cool. Stylistic choice. I don't think it looks bad. But I don't think a movie like Halloween would have become what it was and influenced as many movies as it did without somebody like Dean Cundey. So, you know, and then Carpenter brought Cundey along with him on a lot of the movies he made. I mean, Cundey shot the first 3 Halloween movies. He shot E.T. He shot The Thing, right? So he did so many. Did he shoot E.T. and The Thing? I think he did. Those were the same year as well. Yeah. So, you know, you could easily just say it's the crew more than the director, but I still think the director brings quite a bit. Yeah. No, I just watched it on Tubi. Yeah, still looks great though. I don't, you know, it would be cool to see a 4K version. I didn't know John Carl Buechler did the effects on that one. I think he did the Ghoulies effects too. So that was really cool to be like, oh, cool, John Carl Buechler. Stuart Gordon, I think, directed Dolls, which is really cool as well. I love Stuart Gordon's work. Yeah, very charming movie. Yeah, if he had a big budget, I think Ed Wood would have been better off. Yeah. It's funny you mentioned Bull, because I'll defend Bull's post-video game stuff, particularly Rampage. I don't think I've seen that one. Yeah. House of the Dead, that's like the one that stands out to me. I think that might be the only one I've seen. I was just thinking, like, who's a more recent, like, very maligned director, and Uwe Boll just came right out. Dream Warriors, yeah, I'm just talking about the first movie. Yeah, the very first A Nightmare on Elm Street, just comparing those to that and the original Friday the 13th to Halloween. There's a totally different ball game going on as far as just production value, I would say. Assault on Wall Street is cathartic and stoic is legit harrowing. I have not heard of or seen those movies. I should. Those are both Uwe Boll movies. Okay. Yeah. I mean, you know, more power to him. He was able to get the work, and then he boxed people that critiqued him. I love that too. I'm so sorry, Gina. Get some ice on there. It'll help with the swelling. Take some ibuprofen or whatever you use for pain. That's just what I use for pain. Well, we're all wrapped up, Freddy. Freddy Krueger has joined the stream. We just wrapped up with a bunch of news. So we covered the official trailer for Silent Night, Deadly Night that just dropped this morning. We covered some a trailer and a clip of Osgood Perkins Keeper. We talked about or shared a clip of Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein that just dropped yesterday. There's a Bela Lugosi biopic that is in very early stages of development that we talked about, and we paid tribute to legendary poster artist Drew Struzan. So right now, I'm just like kind of chilling with you guys for another couple minutes. So nothing too crazy going on right now. The OG Godzilla poster was awesome. From which, the 85? You're talking about the 54? Or is that when it was? Oh, yeah. Chester Franklin Jr. dropping in with the 78 movie poster. Yeah. Yeah, Halloween's got, I think for the most part, their posters are great. Even 4 and 5, they use the mask from the original. So they're lying, but it looks better than what they've got in the movie. So I guess I can't fault them. Hey, I was right. 54. How about that? But yeah, Freddy Krueger. Yes, R.I.P. to Drew Struzan. Yeah, I will be back. Speaking of Freddy, just asking like, what the hell's happening here? Coming up on the channel, guys, I mentioned it at the beginning of the stream, but if you're just jumping in now, we're all done covering the news. Feel free to scrub on back. And for those of you that might be new to the channel, so what I do is I do these news live streams because I just love being live with you guys. I love hanging out and getting that interaction with the audience, and also just sort of sharing the space with you guys and giving you, you know, kind of a podium or somewhere to sound off, you know. I'm a huge audience member on YouTube. Certain channels are really great about including the audience. Others they just do their thing and the audience watches, kind of like a TV show, which is cool too. The way that I like to do things here is I like to share that space with you guys and give kind of a platform for the audience to get their thoughts and opinions out there. So if you're just jumping in now or you're new, I do clip out the individual stories and post them as videos on the channel. So if you're new and you're like, oh, I wonder if Davey covered this or that, check out the videos tab on the channel, and you can, you know, just get those in easily digestible, like 6 or 7 or 8 minute clipped out videos. And coming up on the channel tomorrow night, Daniel from the Cobwebs channel is going to be on at 9 p.m. Eastern. We are going to talk about our favorite horror movie soundtracks and scores. I'm very excited because I started my first band when I was in 8th grade. I'm a huge music nerd. It's my #1 passion as far as art goes. And Daniel grew up as a musical theater kid. So it'll be awesome to talk music with the guy. I love his channel. I love what he does. He's so passionate and, gosh, just educated on everything. Like, he's got so much insight, and man, his stream of consciousness approach to his videos is something that I wish I had when I sat down to do pre-recorded stuff. I'm a lot more comfortable doing live stuff. When I sit down to do something pre-recorded, I turn into an absolute mess. But that's coming up tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern. I do have a Discord. The link is down in the description below. It's totally free. We have a lot of fun on the Discord. It's a great way to keep up with the community in between streams. And guys, we watch movies on Discord, and it's a watch party unlike the kind that we can have here on YouTube, because on Discord you can show the movie, so you don't have to bring your own copy or rent a copy or happen to have the streaming service that the movie is on. You can just hang out in the chat and watch the movies with us. I'm not on camera, I'm not on the microphone, it's just the chat room and the movie. So it's really, really fun over there. I have an absolute blast. And other than that, we've got a live tier maker ranking next Wednesday. That's going to be, we're going to rank 70 different kinds of Halloween candy. And then next Thursday on the 23rd, we're going to have my buddy Lito Velasco on. Freddy Krueger, if you're still in the chat, you're going to want to set a notification bell for that, because we are going to be talking about A Nightmare on Elm Street, the entire franchise. Lito is a massive fan of the franchise. And he was a contributor to, or one of the producers on the Never Sleep Again documentary. He helped edit the book version of that documentary that dives into the behind the scenes and the history on the franchise. And he's just such a huge fan. Out of the big three, A Nightmare on Elm Street is the third for me. So I guess you could say I'm lukewarm, but maybe having Lito on here, sharing his passion for A Nightmare on Elm Street, maybe it'll rub off on me in some sort of way, and I'll come away from the stream appreciating something about the franchise that maybe I had missed before. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then a whole bunch of stuff on the channel. So subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff, and you won't miss anything. And yeah, spooky season is just a whirlwind, guys. Pretty soon October will be over and I'll be like, what the hell happened? Let me just get back in here to the chat and see what you guys are saying. Oh, hell yeah, Saucy Jack. You and Cobwebs are my favorite channels. Well, there you go. Tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern. For Cobwebs, tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern. And then I believe the stream with Lido, check out the channel to make sure, Freddie. But I believe it's going to be 7 p.m. Eastern on Thursday, the 23rd. Yes, that is it. Favorite soundtrack is the score from 84 Ghostbusters. All right. Love how generous you are with including us, Davey. I actually hate it when YouTuber live streams ignore the chats and view. Yeah, I've gotten less and less patience for that as I've gone on with my journey as a content creator. There's some channels that like I used to really love when I was just an audience member. And now I'm just sort of like, man, it's like you're talking at a wall. Like bring the people in. Bring the people in, man. Yeah. I'm very flattered. He loves my movies. Yeah, and I love a few of them, Freddie. Maybe I'll, the Dream Master Part 4. I'm getting more and more love for that one as I continue to go. No worries, my brother. We will. I'm sure we'll see you sometime soon, though, for sure. Yeah, I think that's all I've got for you. Again, guys, the link pinned in the chat. It's also in the description. If you want to order In Search of Darkness 95 to 99, I do have an affiliate link. It's a great way to support the filmmakers at Creator VC that put together these awesome documentaries. And if you use my affiliate code, it helps out the channel as well. Channel members, 15% off promo code for patrons and channel members. That is on the community tab. So that works at our merch shop. So check that out. And guys, if you want some spooky season merch, there's all sorts of really great stuff up there on the fourth wall shop. But you're probably going to want to order now if you want to have that stuff here or at your house in time for spooky season. But that's going to wrap it up for this stream, guys. Thank you so much for kicking it with me. If you're watching after the fact, I extra appreciate it because I think it's a little more difficult to find these streams after the fact. So thank you so very much. I really appreciate you guys. Shout out to all the Patreon members and the YouTube channel members. An extra shout out to our amazing Death Squad mods. You guys are absolutely incredible. I will be back tomorrow evening at 9 p.m. Eastern with Daniel from the Cobwebs channel, and we're going to talk some horror movie soundtracks and scores. So get ready for that. It'll be an absolute blast, and I can't wait to see if you guys have some underrated picks, some hot takes, some fun stuff, some stuff that maybe we haven't thought about. So I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow. So until next time, I've been and will continue being Davey Deathray. Take care.